We do presentations.
What a day.
Like today or like?
Yeah. I guess, well, I just had to do thing in my head. She's like such a long day.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Woo! How's it going? Good? Excellent. Awesome. My name is Andrew. Let's look when from Old College. I had the pleasure of coming up here and welcoming Brandon up. He's doing a presentation on Be Your Own Hero as well. So for everybody, just make sure that you take some notes and stuff as well. It's a really good opportunity to make sure that you can take some of these notes and stuff back to your next RAT meeting, or take them back to some of your coworkers and stuff as well. I'd love to implement some of these awesome things in your own personal lives, but also want to get back to residents as well too. So take it away.
All right. All right. So first off, good afternoon. I also want to start out just giving you guys a something to try out. So at Mount Royal Training, totally irrelevant to my presentation, instead of clapping, we would do snaps. So if you agree with something, instead of just being like, yeah, woo, just snap. That way you don't interrupt other people. It just keeps the flow, and then they don't have to talk over you. There's not like that stutter or anything like that. Try it throughout the weekend. Really gonna try and push it, see if it catches on, right? Something that I absolutely love. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Klaas, and I'm here to show you my presentation on becoming your own hero. So slide 2. So I'm going to start out, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, who I am, and what I've gone through. So the picture you see of me, that up there, that was me in like 2013. I weighed in at like 320 pounds. I had just broken up with my girlfriend, and that was the 3rd time in my life where I'd broken up due to someone being unfaithful. So I was suffering from severe depression and extreme suicidal tendencies. In addition to all this, I just received a letter in the mail stating that my marks were so low, I wasn't allowed to reapply for university. So the next slide, we're gonna take a little bit of a break. So let's also get this out of the way. I love games. I love them so much. So just indulge me for a second. We're just gonna stand up and we're just gonna play a super quick game of Simon Says. And then if you're out, just sit down. And just keep in mind that like there are people downstairs, so don't be super rowdy. Simon Says, just shake it, like just shake it off. I guess Taylor says that. Simon Says, touch your nose. Pat your head. Oh, Simon didn't say it. Simon Says, shake your foot. Simon Says, shake your other foot. Shake out your arms, get nice and loose. Simon didn't say it. All right, sit back down. I think we're good and loose. It's been a lot of. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Just a lot of sitting. So for a large portion of my life, I was picked on. And I remember getting into a lot of different fist fights in junior high. Right, one in particular always stands out in my mind. And I got into a fist fight. I got the tar beat out of me because I picked a fight with someone who was bigger than me, because I was at recess and I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh with my friends, and they came up and they're like, hey, can I see your deck? And I'm like, oh yeah, sure. And I got super excited, and they took it and threw it into the wind. So I spent a lot of time in the principal's office. So what I mostly remember though is being picked on because I didn't play sports. So essentially, put into junior high terms, I was picked on because I was nerdy and because I wasn't a jock, right? And you guys will get why I'm doing air quotes in a little bit. So I decided I was gonna fix that. So I went and I started playing football. And guess what? I loved football. Oh my God, so much fun. The friends I made, so cool, right? I made a lot of cool friends. I met a lot of cool people through playing football. However, even when I was still playing football, when I had all those friends, I still felt that need to keep my nerd side secret from my friends, because I was scared I would lose my friends if I found out what I really liked. So the next slide. So this is a picture of Simon Pegg. You guys might know him. He's a British actor. He's pretty funny. So after I graduated, I decided I was going to start a new page and a new chapter in my life. So I moved to Saskatoon, which is like 7 hours away from my hometown. And I met some of my closest friends there. And I decided, all right, that's pretty cool. I can finally be who I like, who I want to be. I can finally be myself. I can finally nerd out again. And my friends were super accepting and encouraging. However, the people at the comic book store that I wanted to game with, the people that I wanted to, I wanted to game with and make new friends with, they weren't as understanding. They took one look at me and said, well, what do you care? Like, you're a jock. You're not one of us. To them, I look like a jock. So the next one. Yeah, no, you're good. So I'm sure you're all starting to see the issue here. I couldn't hang out with the jocks because I was too nerdy for them. And I couldn't hang out with the nerds because I was too much of a jock. And this is all so ridiculous, right? And not only that, but like in my mind, I'm not what I could consider a jock, right? And I'm also not what I consider a nerd. I'm just me. So this was infuriating as someone who loves to socialize, and I always want to branch out, right? I think it's awesome that I get to come to something with like lead, and I get to present to, I don't know, like 20 of my new best friends, right? That's awesome. That's right. We all just became best friends. Maybe you don't like it. It's happening. All right, next slide. All right, so let's fast forward a couple of years. This is a picture of me last year, right? And this is all pretty narcissistic and like, kind of, I don't know. I'm just proud of myself, so that's why I show this stuff. So in 3 years, I lost over 110 pounds. I'm in my second year at Mount Royal and pursuing a triple major. And I've been dating an amazing girl for the past 2.5 years, right? I haven't even had suicidal tendencies for close to 3, right? I have the coolest group of friends, all of which are in this new room, right? And I can say that I'm the happiest I've been probably in my entire life. So what changed? Next slide. So after I received my letter from the U of S telling me not to reapply, I did what a lot of people my generation do. I moved back in with my parents. So round of applause for parents who put up with all of our shenanigans, our snaps. Yeah. So I started working at the local bakery and quickly worked my way up into a managerial position. And while I was at home, I found that most of the people that I'd gone to school with, most of the people that I knew and grown up with, had all left, right? I made a conscious, and then I decided that, when I moved away, I was going to start a new chapter, a new beginning in my book of life, and I had left theirs. So I had come to grips with, the fact that I wasn't relevant anymore. And let me tell you though, like, I've never felt more alone in my life. So you couple that with everything I'd stated before, I was in the lowest spot of my life. So the next slide there. So one day I looked at myself in the mirror and I realized that I loathed the very existence of the person in that mirror. I also realized that I was too afraid to do things that I loved simply because of the people I thought were cool, right? Because they thought otherwise. If I wanted to hang out with my friends who wanted to play basketball, they're like, why would you ever play Dungeons and Dragons? That's for nerds. And if I wanted to hang out with my friends who play Dungeons and Dragons, they're like, why would you go play basketball, right? That's for jocks, right? And I realized that I was too afraid to do either. So I just sat at home alone, not knowing what to do with myself. I also realized that I could never actually be the people or the person who I'd idolized and looked up to. And once I thought about it, I realized I didn't want to be them, right? Those heroes that you have in your mind, I don't necessarily want to be them, right? And I was tired of living my life by the rules that I thought people had been enforcing my entire life. What I came to realize is that I wanted to be myself. So I wanted to go to the gym and work out and then go play Dungeons and Dragons with my friends, right? I wanted to run a 5-kilometer run and then relax by playing World of Warcraft. So the next slide. All right, so this is Mindy. I love Mindy. So I wanted to be my own hero, and I wanted to be the person that I've always looked up to. So I decided that I wasn't going to continue to live my life following the rules and the stereotypes, the cliques and the cliches that so many other people like insisted I follow. I also decided that I wasn't going to continue to idolize other people. I was going to kill my heroes. Okay, not literally. But I did decide that I was no longer going to heroize other people. I was going to become my own hero. The next slide. So I realized that I was never going to be that perfect superhero, and that anyone that I've ever looked up to, real or fictional, right? Or fictional. You have a chance to make up a fictional perfect being, and they are not perfect, right? Everyone has flaws. Spider-Man continually hurts the people he cares about no matter how hard he tries. Ash Ketchum never became a Pokemon champion. And my all-time favorite superhero, Goku, is notoriously dim-witted, right? So setting goals, the next slide there. What did I do next? I set goals for myself. I wrote down what I didn't like about myself and what it was that I wanted to improve upon. The lovely Shayla taught me about this morning. It's called a growth mindset of always sitting there saying, I can be better, right? I think it was your mom who said, an Olympian, even if they win a gold medal, you don't sit there and say well, that's nice, I'm done, right? Walk off stage, exit left. You won one, that's good, right? You want to keep improving. You want to win medal after medal. You want to be the very best. You want to keep improving. And I started striving towards those goals that I had written down. I wanted to start reading more books. I wanted to start going to the gym. I wanted to start forcing myself to smile every time I looked in the mirror. And I started looking back to going to university. But I also made sure that I focused on my hobbies. I started playing basketball when I had the chance. I raided my guild almost every Thursday. And I play Magic the Gathering on Fridays, and I try to play D&D on Sundays. D&D is short for Dungeons and Dragons, for those of you who aren't in the know. The next slide. So changing perspectives. What I found as I started to change my outlook on life, as I started to morph and change and metamorphosize into who I am today, is that the people I kept company with actually didn't care about what I looked like, what games I played, or if I wanted to play basketball or D&D, right? I found that those rules, those stipulations, those cliques, those guidelines were all they're all those preconceived notions, they're all garbage. They're complete lies. If you hang out with people who support you and love you for who you are, they don't care if you play basketball or play Dungeons and Dragons. They don't care if you go to the gym or if you read a book. So there's no conceivable meaning in this world that states that you can't be everything that you want to be and everything that you've looked up to your entire life. So, slide the next one there. Okay, yeah. So our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. And we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, and fabulous? And that was by Mariana Williamson. And I want you to stop asking, who am I to reach out and strive for greatness? Stop saying there's nothing special about me, right? I want you to start saying, who am I not to strive for greatness? I want you to start pushing yourselves. I want you to become everything that you've ever wanted to become. And I want you to achieve every sense of greatness that I know you hold within you. So I do have a video. It's not integral to the slide. If you can't hear it, because it only runs off the laptop, there's no speakers connected, we'll just skip it. So somebody tell me if you can't hear it. I don't know, I'll send it to you or something like that. Maybe, we'll see.
Just give me one quick sec.
Hey, no worries. If I actually had the know-how, I would have just put it right in there. I want to help, but I know that I wouldn't actually help. Is everyone kind of here?
I wonder what you would do if you had the power to dream at night any dream you wanted to dream. And you would, of course, be able to alter your time sense and slip, say, 75 years of subjective time of sleep. You would, I suppose, start out by fulfilling all your wishes. You could design for yourself what would be the most ecstatic life. Love affairs, banquets, dancing girls, wonderful journeys, gardens, music beyond belief. And then after a couple of months of this sort of thing, at 75 years a night, you would be getting a little taste for something different. And you would move over to an adventurous dimension, where there were certain dangers involved and the thrill of dealing with dangers. You could rescue princesses from dragons and go on dangerous journeys. Make wonderful explosions and blow them up. Eventually get into contests with enemies. And after you've done that for some time, you'd think up a new wrinkle to forget that you were dreaming, so that you would think it was all for real and to be anxious about it. And then, because it'd be so great when you woke up, and then you'd say, well, like children who dare each other on things, how far out could you get? What could you take? What dimension of being lost, of abandonment of your power, what dimension of that could you stand? You could ask yourself this because you know you'd eventually wake up. Then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now. You would dream the dream of living the life that you are actually living today. That would be within the infinite multiplicity of choices you would have, of playing that you weren't God. Because the whole nature of the Godhead, according to this idea, is to play that he's not. So in this idea then, everybody is fundamentally the ultimate reality. Not God in a politically kingly sense, but God in the sense of being the self, the deep down basic whatever there is. And you're all that, only you're pretending you're not.
That's all right. Everyone kind of, you guys all heard that, right? Pretty powerful stuff. Yeah, we can go on to the next. I think you can skip 2 slides. Yeah, that's the video. Yeah, there we go. All right. So I want you to all to do this with me. Close your eyes. Now, imagine your hero. Imagine someone that you look up to. What is it that you admire about them? What is it about them that makes you look up to them so much more special than you are? Now, is there any actual reasoning why you, yourself, why can't you have those properties? Why can't you be in the best shape ever? Or why can't you write award-winning papers? Or why can't you write amazing, or why can't you climb amazing mountains? Open your eyes. There's no reason you can't have those qualities. I want you to kill your heroes and imagine that ideal, absolute version of yourself towards it. Still admire the greatness that resides within others and don't become narcissistic, but truly see the greatness and the potential that lies within yourself and love yourself for it. If you give yourself enough time and practice, you can achieve anything. The greatness you all have within you. Never let your fear decide your fate, because I know that you're all resilient beyond belief. So I want you to realize that whatever limitations you think you have, they don't exist. We already know the qualities we want because we know those qualities because of the people that we've looked up to, because of those heroes that we have within our mind. Take the traits that you admire and make them your own. So you can go, yeah. So stop hiding who you are and who you want to be, and embrace all that you are and all that you can be. Moving towards that ideal hero, that version of yourself that wears a cape and has no fear, the version of yourself that you look up to. You can go to the next slide again. There we go. Achieve your own greatness. Take all that it is that you love and admire and make it truly your own. Let it shape and morph you and become your own hero. My name is Klaas. Thank you. Yeah, Simon says.
For anyone who knows me, I don't often have like a lack of words, but like that was honestly like a very moving presentation. And
Thank you.
I said this a little bit earlier today, so I don't want it to seem redundant, but my opinion is that sometimes the most moving presentations and the most like passionate talks and stuff come from like a place of vulnerability, right? And I know that myself, I really appreciate the story that you shared, and you did an absolutely phenomenal job. But on behalf of the RPA, I want to give you a certificate here for your presentation as well. And here's a card for you as well too. And,
awesome.
Really, thank you.
Thank you. All right, so I think we have like 7-10 minutes left. I don't know, I'm not good with time. So if you guys don't have to answer if you don't want. I just stand up here and then I'll look super awkward. What are some qualities that when you're kind of doing a little bit of a reflection, like that you admire within others? If anyone wants to share it. So like for me, one of the big ones was like my own like self-image and my own like weight problems. You know, I always looked up to, I look up to a lot of different people, right? I look up to like Thor Bjorgensen. If you guys watch Game of Thrones, he plays the Mountain, right? Guys,
Met him a week ago.
Did you? Yeah. That's super sweet, right? All right, I look up to like bodybuilders, weightlifters, because that's something that I want to strive for. But I realize that looking up to people isn't enough, and that I have to reach out and gain those things for myself. Anyone else want to share?
I think perseverance is something I really look up to. Something you can like be knocked down, but just continue to get up again and keep going.
Yeah, and I think that you like definitely, I think everyone has that within them. And it's just a matter of just saying like, you know what, tomorrow's a new tomorrow, yesterday was yesterday. So I think there was Hayden? Yeah.
Okay. One thing I really appreciate about people is when they show some form of humility, being able to admit when you made a mistake. You know, it's one thing when you're joking around, like, oh no, like I wasn't wrong. Like at the end of the day, if you like made a big mistake or anything, and you're able to admit that mistake and then learn from it, and even if it's helping someone else learn from their mistake, you know, that's something that I've always really like found that the people I've looked up to, they've always had like really great humility.
Yeah.
So I think that's really important.
Yes, absolutely.
Someone who messes up and then blames it on someone else or is never wrong.
No, absolutely. And like, I think that there's something to be said about always looking to strive towards like sitting there being like, Shayla, again, like I just took so much away from your presentation this morning. There's something to be said about saying like, that was good. How do I be better? I'm an Olympic gold medalist. I'm the best in the world. How do I be better? How do I like top that, you know? And just striving towards those goals and sitting there and saying like, you know what, like, even though I'm the best, how do I keep improving? Right? I think there's definitely something to be said about that. You had your end of football.
I just kind of like went off what basically you said. Like something I really like look up to, and someone who I view as a hero is someone who's never really satisfied with what they've achieved. Like just like you said, like just because they've done something. Like for instance, Tom Brady, love the guy.
Yeah.
Won a bunch of Super Bowls, but he's still 40 and still trying to win and be the best, even though he looks like he is, or I at least see that as someone I look up to, right? So just never being satisfied with what you achieve and always wanting to keep going, getting the next one. Awesome.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing. I think Reagan?
Yes.
Yeah, I learned this earlier. It's not Reagan.
I really admire when people are just unapologetically themselves. Like they might like be really interested in something that's nerdy, and they are just like, yeah, I 100% love that. And people are like, really? And they're like, yeah. Like they don't even like question it.
Yeah.
They're like, of course I do. Like, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
I find that really.
And that was one thing that like I don't know, that I've like, it's almost a learned reaction to just like sit there, and if somebody's like, wow, you like that, and to be like, oh yeah, it's awesome, why wouldn't I? As opposed to sitting there and saying like, oh, you don't like that, so there must be something wrong with the stuff that I like. You know, it's part of, I think it's part of the human condition. I'm not actually sure. I'm a scientist by any means of the word. But I think there's something to be said about just sitting there and just being like, yeah, I like what I like. Want to give it a try, or you want to, you know, if it's not for you, it's not for you, you know? It was Tiana?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Shayla.
I think too, like I try to, like I look up to people who lead their life with joy, and so finding joy in the little, maybe unjoyful events, like to live my successful life, I have to be able to find joy in things that necessarily bring joy, and that's a hard thing to do, is to find happiness in unhappy times.
Yeah.
Which is hard.
Yeah. Every now and again, it's just, it's a small, we talk about this at Mount Royal. You've probably heard it a couple other times. We call them lollipop moments. It's just the little things in life, you know. Sometimes it's you're having a rough day and somebody rolls down their car window and they scream at you on their way by. They're just like, have a good day, right? And you're just like, I don't even know who you are, thanks. And you find yourself smiling like 5 minutes after, and you're like, wow, my day was pretty shitty before that, and like that really just brightened my day. Sometimes it's just moments.
I admire people who are very courageous and aren't scared to someone told them that it's either too hard or that they're too small, or like basically just saying you can't. So I like those kind of people.
Yeah, and that's I think that's like a super part of like who I've ingrained into myself, right? So I know that Lyndon, my boss, my RLC, is in the room. Feel free to use this against me. If somebody says, I bet you can't do that, as I'm often more courageous than skilled, right? In other words, I will, if you sit there and say that you can't climb that tree, I will be up that tree in 5 seconds. I will not know how to get down. Like, there's definitely something to be said about just like saying like, no, I'm gonna prove people wrong, and not just saying that I'm gonna prove people wrong, I'm gonna prove myself wrong. If you ever sat there and said, I can't do this, right? Prove to yourself that you can, and I bet you'll be really, really surprised, right? And
yeah, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
So one of them is, like, we talked about how you became depressed.
Yeah.
I'm curious how you made that shift from being depressed to like getting out of the slump. And as well, my other question was about maybe like strategies on striving to meet your goals, because like you said, we need to strive for the goals, yes, obviously, but like maybe steps that we can take to do that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna answer your second question first. I kind of left that a little bit more ambiguous in my PowerPoint, simply because I think that changes for each person. I'm a really big gamer, right? Like everything that I love to do pretty much is with like that nerdy like stereotype. So I literally went online and I made a Dungeons and Dragons character, right? His name is Brandon, right? I have other ones named Grog. They're super cool. But what I would do is I would give myself, I had a point system, right? And so for every time I could lift another 10 pounds at the gym, I got a point for that, right? I got an experience point, or however many experience points I thought that was worth, right? If I could run an extra kilometer, if I could push myself to do that, I got more experience points. And I just worked it up like that because like I like having stuff that I can put down on paper and like visually see, and I wanted to see a gradual thing when you look at yourself striving towards goals, right? You don't, everyone might sit there and around you and they might be like, oh wow, like you've lost 10 pounds, and you're just like, but I don't feel that way, I don't look that way, like, because you haven't seen that drastic change in yourself. And then maybe you're flipping back through old pictures and you're like, oh god, right? Come ask me to see my ID later. I look like Guy Fieri's son. It's hilarious. And as for your first question, it was really just a change in mindset. I wish that there was some secret that I could share to the world about getting over that slump, about changing your mindset. It was just a decision that I made to do. I think that a big part of my own depression, a big part of who I used to be was my self-image, my self-confidence, right? And like 310 pounds, right? Like that's, like I was grossly overweight, right?